What if everything you believed about vision loss was completely wrong? What if the blurry mornings, the struggle to read small print, the headlights that blind you at night, none of that had to be permanent? Right now, while you are sitting here reading this, your eyes are trying desperately to repair themselves. Every single night during sleep, your body launches a sophisticated biological repair operation targeting your retina, your lens, your blood vessels, the entire visual system. But here's the problem most people never hear about. If you go to bed without the right nutrients in your system, that repair process stalls. It slows to almost nothing. And your eyes limp through another night of incomplete healing, accumulating damage that adds up year after year until one day a doctor says the words no one wants to hear. Tonight, that changes. I am Dr. Thomas Reed, and I am going to walk you through 5 specific foods eaten before bed that can literally transform what happens inside your eyes while you sleep. These are not supplements. These are not expensive treatments. These are real foods backed by real science, and the timing of when you eat them matters enormously. Stay with me, because what you are about to learn could genuinely change the future of your vision. Let us start by understanding what is actually happening inside your eyes every single night. Because once you grasp this, everything else will make perfect sense. Your retina, that thin layer of tissue at the back of your eye, has the highest metabolic rate of any tissue in your entire body. It burns through more oxygen and nutrients per gram than your brain, more than your heart, more than any other organ. The photoreceptor cells inside your retina are being damaged constantly throughout the day by light exposure and oxidative stress. Blue light from screens, sunlight, indoor lighting, all of it generates what scientists call reactive oxygen species, essentially tiny molecular fire that chars your cellular components. The only time your eyes can truly fight back and rebuild is during sleep. Deep sleep, specifically, is when your body shifts from active mode into full repair mode. A critical layer of cells in your retina called the retinal pigment epithelium gets to work digesting damaged photoreceptor material, recycling usable components, transporting fresh nutrients in, and flushing waste out. This is your body's built-in eye maintenance system, and it is extraordinary, but it is completely dependent on having the right raw materials available. Without them, your eyes go through the motions of repair but come up short every single time. The first food you need to eat before bed is wild-caught salmon, and I want you to understand exactly why this is non-negotiable if you are serious about your vision. Your retina contains the highest concentration of a specific omega-3 fatty acid called DHA of any tissue in your body. In fact, DHA makes up somewhere between 50 and 60% of the fatty acids in your photoreceptor outer segments, the actual structures that capture light, and convert it into the electrical signals your brain reads as vision. DHA is not just passively sitting there. It is structurally essential. The unique molecular shape of DHA keeps your photoreceptor membranes fluid and flexible. And that flexibility is what allows the lightning-fast chemical reactions of vision to occur. When your DHA levels drop, your body does something desperate. It substitutes omega-6 fatty acids into those membranes instead. Those substitutes are stiffer, slower, and far less effective. Vision starts to degrade. Signals become weaker. Adaptation to low light slows down. One landmark study tracking over 2,500 people for 12 years found that those with the highest omega-3 intake had a 30% lower risk of developing advanced macular degeneration. 30%. That is not a small number when we are talking about the leading cause of vision loss in older adults. Salmon works through multiple pathways simultaneously, and that is what makes it so powerful. The omega-3s reduce the chronic inflammation that drives macular degeneration, the kind of slow, burning inflammation that most people do not even feel, but that is quietly destroying their retinal tissue day after day. DHA and EPA, the two primary omega-3s in salmon, suppress inflammatory signals and actually promote the production of compounds that actively resolve inflammation and encourage tissue healing. While you sleep, salmon-derived omega-3s are essentially putting out fires in your retina. Beyond inflammation, omega-3s improve blood flow to the eye. Your retina has enormous oxygen demands, and any reduction in circulation triggers a cascade of damage. In diabetic retinopathy and wet macular degeneration, the retina becomes starved for oxygen and responds by growing abnormal, leaky blood vessels that cause catastrophic vision loss. Omega-3s support healthy blood vessel function and improve oxygen delivery, helping to prevent that nightmare scenario. They also play a direct role in regenerating rhodopsin, the visual pigment that allows you to see in dim light. Every night while you sleep, rhodopsin is being rebuilt, and DHA is part of the molecular environment where that rebuilding happens. Aim for 3 to 4 ounces of wild-caught salmon 2 to 3 nights per week. Bake it simply, pair it with greens, and eat it about an hour to 90 minutes before bed. The second food is blueberries, and these small berries carry some of the most impressive science in the entire field of eye nutrition. The compounds responsible are called anthocyanins, the deep blue-purple pigments that give blueberries their color. Anthocyanins are antioxidants, but calling them antioxidants almost undersells what they do, because their antioxidant capacity dwarfs that of vitamin C and E combined. For your eyes specifically, anthocyanins do something remarkable. They cross the blood-retina barrier, a highly selective biological checkpoint, and concentrate specifically in the areas of your retina that are under the greatest oxidative stress. Your body is essentially directing these protective molecules exactly where they are needed most. One of their most important roles is strengthening the tiny capillaries that supply your retina. As people age, these microscopic blood vessels become fragile and leaky. In diabetic retinopathy, high blood sugar accelerates this damage, and fluid seeps into the retina, causing swelling and vision loss. Anthocyanins reinforce the walls of these capillaries, reducing permeability and preventing leakage. Studies have shown that anthocyanin supplementation measurably reduces retinal capillary leakage in diabetic patients, which is a genuinely remarkable finding. There is also a fascinating piece of history connected to blueberries and night vision that most people have never heard. During World War II, British Royal Air Force pilots reportedly consumed bilberry jam, bilberries being a close European relative of blueberries with extremely high anthocyanin levels, and claimed dramatically improved night vision during nighttime bombing missions. That story sparked decades of scientific research that ultimately confirmed the effect is real. Anthocyanins accelerate the regeneration of rhodopsin, the visual pigment in your rod cells that allows you to see in darkness. When rhodopsin gets bleached by light during the day, it must be rebuilt before your night vision can function properly. Blueberry anthocyanins speed up that regeneration process, which means better adaptation to darkness and clearer vision in low light conditions. For anyone who has struggled with night driving or moving around a dark house, this improvement can genuinely transform daily life. Beyond night vision, anthocyanins reduce retinal inflammation, protect against cataract formation by shielding lens proteins from oxidative damage, and improve blood flow to the optic nerve. Eat half to 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries about an hour before bed. Wild blueberries, which are smaller and more intensely colored, contain even higher concentrations of anthocyanins than cultivated varieties. The third food is dark leafy greens, kale, spinach, collard greens, Swiss chard, and what makes them extraordinary for vision comes down to 2 specific compounds called lutein and zeaxanthin. These are carotenoid pigments, and the human eye accumulates them in greater quantities than almost any other tissue in the body. The macula, the central region of your retina responsible for the sharp, detailed vision you use for reading, recognizing faces, and seeing fine detail, is so densely packed with these yellow pigments that it is literally named for them. The macula lutea means yellow spot in Latin. Lutein and zeaxanthin function as internal sunglasses. They absorb blue light before it can reach the underlying photoreceptors, protecting those delicate cells from the oxidative damage that blue light causes. But they do not stop there. They also have direct antioxidant properties, neutralizing free radicals that still manage to form. This dual protection, blocking the damage at the source and neutralizing what still gets through, makes lutein and zeaxanthin uniquely effective. Higher levels of macular pigment, which directly reflects your lutein and zeaxanthin status, are consistently associated with better visual function and dramatically lower risk of macular degeneration. The Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2, one of the most comprehensive nutrition studies ever conducted, found that supplementation with these carotenoids reduced the risk of advanced macular degeneration by up to 25%. What is even more remarkable is that lutein and zeaxanthin do not just prevent further damage, they can actually help restore function that has already been lost. A study published in the journal Optometry followed macular degeneration patients who supplemented with lutein for 1 year and found significant measurable improvements in visual acuity, contrast sensitivity, and glare recovery. Their vision actually got better, not just stabilized, improved. This is the kind of finding that completely reframes how we think about nutritional intervention for eye disease. 1 cup of cooked kale delivers about 23 milligrams of lutein and zeaxanthin combined. 1 cup of cooked spinach delivers around 20 milligrams. Research showing vision benefits typically uses doses of 10 to 20 milligrams daily, meaning a single generous serving of cooked greens hits that target. The critical factor is fat. Lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble, which means your body cannot absorb them without dietary fat present. Eating a salad without any dressing and expecting to absorb the carotenoids is essentially wishful thinking. Research has shown that adding fat to your greens increases carotenoid absorption by 400 to 500%. Saute your spinach or kale in olive oil or butter, or eat it alongside your salmon. The fat transforms these greens from a good food into a genuinely therapeutic one. The 4th food is walnuts, and what makes them special for eye health extends well beyond what most people realize. Walnuts are one of the only plant foods that provide meaningful amounts of ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. While ALA is not as directly potent as the DHA and EPA in fish, it has independent benefits for retinal health and contributes to your total omega-3 pool. More importantly, for a bedtime protocol, walnuts contain something surprisingly relevant: melatonin. Most people think of melatonin purely as a sleep hormone, but melatonin is also a remarkably powerful antioxidant. And the eye produces and concentrates melatonin in the retina and retinal pigment epithelium specifically because of its protective effects. Research has shown that melatonin protects photoreceptors from light-induced damage, reduces inflammatory signaling in the retina, and may slow the progression of both macular degeneration and glaucoma. By eating walnuts before bed, you are simultaneously supporting sleep quality and loading your retina with a protective antioxidant during the exact hours when repair is happening. This is a remarkable case of one food serving 2 critical functions at the same time. Walnuts are also exceptional sources of vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects cell membranes from a particularly destructive form of damage called lipid peroxidation. This is the process where free radicals attack the fatty acids in cell membranes, triggering a chain reaction that spreads through the membrane, destroying everything in its path. Your photoreceptor outer segments are essentially stacks of fatty membranes, making them especially vulnerable. Vitamin E stops that chain reaction and protects those structures from cascading destruction. The Age-Related Eye Disease Study found that vitamin C and E together significantly slowed macular degeneration progression. And walnuts deliver vitamin E alongside healthy fats that maximize its absorption. The polyphenols in walnuts add another layer of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant protection. and the magnesium supports the enzymatic reactions involved in cellular repair. For anyone managing blood sugar, and blood sugar control is directly tied to diabetic retinopathy risk, walnuts improve insulin sensitivity and have virtually no impact on blood glucose. 1 ounce, which is about 14 walnut halves, is the right amount before bed. It provides meaningful nutrition without being so heavy that it disrupts sleep. The fifth and final food is eggs, specifically whole eggs with the yolk, and they belong in this protocol for a reason that surprises almost everyone. Dark, leafy greens contain far more total lutein and zeaxanthin than eggs. A cup of kale has roughly 100 times more than an egg yolk. So why are eggs on this list? Because bioavailability changes everything. The lutein and zeaxanthin in egg yolks are packaged inside fat, making them immediately ready for absorption the moment they hit your digestive tract. In vegetables, these carotenoids are locked inside plant cell structures that must be broken down before absorption can begin, and that process is never complete. Research comparing eggs directly to spinach found that lutein from eggs was absorbed 3 to 5 times more efficiently than lutein from spinach, even when the spinach was eaten with added fat. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that adding just 1 egg per day to the diet significantly increased blood levels of lutein and zeaxanthin and measurably increased macular pigment density. 1 egg, meaningfully moving the needle on macular protection. This is the power of bioavailability. Beyond their carotenoid content, eggs provide zinc in highly absorbable form, and zinc is one of the most critically underappreciated nutrients for eye health. The retina has one of the highest concentrations of zinc of any tissue in the body, and zinc plays an essential role in vitamin A metabolism. Your body needs zinc to convert vitamin A into the rhodopsin molecule that makes vision possible. Without adequate zinc, this conversion breaks down, and night vision suffers even when vitamin A intake looks fine on paper. Zinc is also required to activate superoxide dismutase, one of your body's most important antioxidant enzymes, which protects retinal cells from one of the most damaging forms of oxidative stress. Zinc deficiency is extremely common in older adults, and the age-related eye disease study found that zinc supplementation alone significantly reduced the progression to advanced macular degeneration. Eggs also deliver preformed vitamin A, the active version that your body can use directly, along with choline for cell membrane maintenance and protein for rebuilding structural components of the eye. 1 to 2 whole eggs before bed, hard-boiled for convenience or lightly scrambled with spinach, gives you a sustained release nutrient profile that feeds your eyes throughout the night. Now let us bring it all together into a simple, practical routine you can start tonight. About 90 minutes before bed, prepare a small but nutrient-dense meal using 3 to 5 of these foods. You might bake 3 to 4 ounces of wild salmon and serve it with sauteed spinach cooked in olive oil, a handful of walnuts, and half a cup of blueberries. Or make a 2-egg omelet with chopped kale and butter, served alongside fresh berries and walnuts. Or open a can of wild Alaskan salmon, which is affordable, shelf-stable, and nutritionally equivalent to fresh, and mix it with avocado and lemon, paired with baby spinach and a cup of mixed berries. These are not complicated meals. They take 15 to 20 minutes at most. The portions are intentionally moderate enough to provide therapeutic nutrition without making you feel too full to sleep comfortably. The fat in these meals ensures the fat-soluble nutrients get properly absorbed. The protein provides satiety and amino acids for repair throughout the night. The antioxidants go to work neutralizing the oxidative damage your eyes accumulated during the day. The most important word in this entire protocol is consistency. Eating these foods once or twice will give you some benefit, but it will not transform your vision. What transforms vision is the cumulative effect of months of consistent nightly nutrition, macular pigment density gradually increasing, antioxidant reserves building up, inflammatory markers slowly declining, photoreceptor membranes being rebuilt with the right structural materials instead of poor substitutes. Research showing real vision improvements from nutritional interventions consistently involves daily intake over months. Your eyes did not deteriorate in a week, and they will not fully regenerate in a week. But here's what is encouraging. Many people start noticing subjective improvements in weeks. Night vision gets noticeably better. Glare becomes less overwhelming. Colors seem more vivid. Reading becomes slightly easier. These early signs are real. They reflect genuine biological changes happening inside your eyes as your photoreceptor cells get the raw materials they have been starved of. Your vision is not a fixed, irreversible sentence. Your retina retains remarkable regenerative capacity throughout your entire life. It simply needs what it needs to do the job. Give it that, tonight and every night. And you give yourself a genuinely fighting chance at not just preserving your vision, but actually getting some of it back.